All right. Ready to do it?
Fionna and Cake 2.
Fionna and Cake 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Adventure Guys! Adventure Guys! Now it's time for Adventure Guys!
All right. Welcome to Adventure Guys, the podcast for humans and dogs. I'm Eric the Human.
I'm Nick the Human.
And we're back in quick succession.
Yep, Fionna and Cake Part 2. We're coming. We're getting back up there. I know some fans of ours were like, hey, when are you going to get back on a regular schedule? Well, I can't promise it'll be forever, but we are here now. We're doing it. We're invigorated by all this new Adventure Time stuff. I think our last episode was good. The one before that with Carol and Steve, really good. If you didn't hear those two, go back. The quality is in a good place on these Fionna and Cake eps, and I'm excited to do it again right now.
Yeah, we just watched the second episode. So they both dropped together, episodes 1 and 2, but we put off watching the second one for an entire 5 days.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe we watched it on Friday, and now it's Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I mean, I guess you could say 3 or 4.
Yeah. Watching the first episode obviously left me wanting more, but now that we've watched the second one, I'm just like, fuck,
Yeah.
I need more.
Oh my God. I was talking to Sean about it. Sean Harvey, most frequent guest of Adventure Guys for you.
I was talking to him about it earlier today also.
Yeah. We may have to call him later, I think. Just get him on again. But he told me he is leaving for tour with Knocked Loose soon, which we talked to him about on the air, right? His Knocked Loose touring?
Yeah. I don't think we've mentioned his upcoming tour.
No.
Knocked Loose is supporting Motionless in White this fall, and they're playing all over some big venues.
Yeah, 7 weeks in America. So if there's any Adventure Guys fans that are going to one of those shows, Sean's doing monitors. You could maybe find him. I don't know. We could facilitate something like that. I should not be offering that. So maybe, I don't know if that's good or not. But he called me because he's he's got a lot of stuff to do before he goes on a 7-week tour. And he's finishing up some of his own musical projects and recording, packing, everything. And he told me, he was like, dude, I'm so glad that they didn't drop all of Fionna and Cake. He was like, after episode 2, he's like, I would have sat there, even though I have so much to do, and just watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's that's the level we're dealing with here.
Yeah. I think it's going to be they're going to slowly drip it out for us.
Which I kind of like. It's going to keep it fun and in my life, our lives collectively for a while to come.
It seems like there's just going to be a lot of questions. Every week we're just going to get more questions, and I'm predicting that the payoff at the end of the season will just be glorious beyond imagination.
Now seeing today's thing, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That was talk about lore and revealing stuff. This was heavy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I said this is all. I mean, they didn't do an Ice King Distant Lands, but I feel like we're getting it.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think I know we've mentioned this before, but I guess it's been a while since it's come up. But when my friend Harold, the trumpet player for the Holophonics, initially sold me on Adventure Time, he told me that yes, the show has a lot of lore, all the characters have a lot of backstory, and the thing that he zeroed in on was the villain has a great redemption arc, and the backstory of Ice King gets super complicated and emotional and everything. And I think that a lot of people key into that pretty quickly, is that the Ice King backstory is a central part of the lore of Adventure Time. And while I do enjoy that, I think there's plenty of other facets of the show and other storylines and other narratives and other characters that I like, maybe I just prefer a little bit more. Yeah, personally. But as far as mainstream appeal, the Ice King backstory is very central to the Adventure Time fandom. Yeah.
I mean, it is also maybe the quickest and easiest sell. That's a really good sell, which I know I've heard this story before, but I'm still impressed with Harold for that, right? Because it's not. I think that's a really great, quick way of explaining where the show goes without divulging too much, but like gets at this is where this thing goes.
Right. Because the character starts off so zany, so tropey, so cartoonish, where they take it over the course of 10 seasons and now developing it even further. There's a lot of very measurable distance there.
Mm-hmm. And we're in it here. And I mean, to go into this, like we'll talk about it, but you need like a lot of context on this episode.
Yes. Fionna and Cake episode 1 feels like it could be appreciated by anyone coming into a blind. You don't have to have watched Adventure Time to enjoy what's going on with the characters in Fionna and Cake episode 1. The character Fionna in particular is a very relatable character. You don't need backstory. You don't need context. This episode, we don't get any backstory of the Simon guy. And if you don't know his whole thing over the course of the last 15 years or whatever, I don't know if you're going to be able to relate to him as easily as we could relate to Fionna. Like, he was pretty dark and existential in a way that I know we get, but also we have lived with the Ice King character already.
Yeah.
Like, his dark existentialism seems less accessible than Fionna's.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think about it if I had no context. But you wouldn't, if you hadn't watched the show, you wouldn't even know who Ice King was. And they're getting at it. I mean, I'm wondering if as this show goes on, like if you watch this in quick succession, like you rage binged it or whatever, like Sean would have, maybe it'll like I have a sneaking suspicion Ice King is going to be coming back, and you will then see, oh, that was Ice King. Oh, he wrote this. I'm understanding more now. But like in this episode, like it feels to me like a lot is lost on you on like what they're talking about and what the heaviness is if you don't know all the lore.
Yeah. And
plus like his relationship with Marceline, they give you that. So if you don't know, you saw it a little bit, but you don't really know what you're seeing. You wouldn't know that you were seeing a flashback and then when it starts and then the future and
right. And the big appearance of Finn the human would probably be super just perplexing.
Yes.
He's like, Finn is really difficult to nail down in this episode in a way that is sort of funny, but also like makes me worry about him a little bit.
Yes.
And without 10 seasons of Finn context and without seeing the Together Again Distant Land special, which tells you where he will eventually wind up, I don't know if there's a way to like figure out what the Finn character is doing in this episode if you don't already know.
That's a really, really good point. I'm a little worried about him too.
Right. I see a lot of signs of like very obvious avoidance in the way he's behaving.
Yeah. I know. Man, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it's like, where do we even begin with this? I will say, again, they were talking about how they were making this show for millennials. And remember in the first episode we were talking about it, and I was like, wow, this is very relatable, right? For millennials, like what Fionna is going through and her own feelings of like, what am I doing? Like like the whole theme song, the sitcom theme, like I don't feel myself today. Like I'm, even with my friends, I'm alone inside. Like, did she say I kind of feel like I want to die?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, whoa. And then in this episode, Ice King's dealing with some really heavy existential dread. And what's so funny about this is like, we're recording this now later because I was like, Eric, let's go get a snack. And then I was just telling you about all of my existential dread.
Yeah.
I was like, I literally, those are the words I was using. Right.
Yes.
I was like, dude, it's really hitting me. Like, what's going on? Like, where, you know what I mean? Like those big existential questions. So it's like, holy shit, they got me again. Right? How about that?
I know, right? Yeah, this is sort of the other side of the coin from episode 1. It's just like Fionna, the character, is still young and figuring it out and having that existential crisis seems to be a more normalized part of the journey. It's like, yes, we're going to go through that, and Fiona's representative of that. Simon is old as fuck, and he's still like not got it figured out, and he's still like searching for something that he doesn't know what it is, and it's like, oh shit, does it ever end?
Yeah. Now we're talking some existential craziness and dealing with the loss of Betty.
Yeah. And that's super confusing because, I mean, the weird shrine that he has set up is like, what's really going on here? I don't know. There's so much. Okay. Yeah. He was really confusing. So everything that everything that Simon did in this episode was either like so fucking sad or so fucking confusing.
Well, because we're just walking in on a scene of what's going on now, and we haven't seen like we're missing a huge chunk of time.
Yeah. So to place this in the timeline.
Yes.
This is the latest episode that we've seen aside from Distant Lands Together Again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safe to assume that Distant Lands Together Again is the final bookend of anything we're ever going to get with these characters. And they place it so far in the future that there's plenty of room in between, but to see something that happens after Together Again would be weird. So when the main series ends after 10 seasons, we get Wizard City and Obsidian that happen after season 10. And I mean, spoilers for Obsidian, which you haven't seen,
No.
but you get a brief glimpse of Finn at the end of that special. And that one focuses on Marcy and PB in the aftermath of the whole gold battle and where their relationship is going. And you actually don't really know where it is in the timeline until the very end when you see a grown-up Finn. But that grown-up Finn is not as old as the Finn in the episode we just watched.
Right.
He still has the same chest tattoo.
Yeah.
Which is presumably a memorial to Jake. So Jake is dead during Obsidian. So it's been that much time has passed, and then slightly more time has passed till we get to this episode.
Mm-hmm. Now so Finn's growing at normal human rate, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, also I guess just like explaining it, like I haven't seen every episode because part of the original idea of this podcast, which we're now so far it's like lost, was that I hadn't seen every episode and Eric had seen it multiple times. So I would bring a fresh perspective as you would bring a new one. So I guess we can engage in that a little bit. So remind me, as the finale comes, which I have seen, right? Like Ice King ceases to exist, right? He stops being Ice King as the finale comes.
Yes. It's like maybe a little confusing what happens, but Betty, with the Magic Man power and whatever magic she's figured out how to use from the Sky Witch, and there's all sorts of I forget exactly how it all combines into like she gets to make a wish, and she wishes for Simon to be safe, but the price of that is I think she becomes the new Golb. And I don't know what happens to Golb thereafter, but it is Betty sort of disappears from our plane of existence, but Simon is safe. And maybe that means that Simon is like who knows what safe means. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't seem like Simon has aged at all since the events of the series finale, and yet Finn's got at least like 20 years on him since then.
At least.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm thinking Mike is Finn in his 40s.
Yeah. So I don't know what keeps Simon safe means. Maybe that means that he's somewhat immortal. It's shown that he can get hurt and bleed and shit like that. So, but who knows how far that extends. But Betty is gone, at least as we know her. it seems like we're going to get some answers in that realm of questioning, though, because obviously Simon is obsessed with Golb in some weird way. He's got like a shrine set up.
Right. And that would explain the connection between Golb and Betty.
Yeah. Golb was a weird villain. A lot of people didn't like that he was sort of like the final boss, and we've touched on that a little bit over time. But yeah, it's confusing. Golb is confusing. I don't think we've ever touched on Golb in an episode that we've watched in the last 118 episodes. So
we haven't really gotten there, but it's going to come into play here. Yes, that's where Simon is, and the episode starts with a flashback to Simon and Marcy.
Yeah. Are we in episode discussion? I guess we're in the episode discussion, right?
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, we've been there.
Are we playing the theme now?
Yeah, play that theme song.
Episode discussion.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about in this episode. It's just that's all we can do. So it's Simon and Marcy, right? And is it a dream, right? Is that how it's kind of framed, or like a remembrance? And then he wakes up at 7 a.m. Right?
Yeah,
or 8 a.m. What is it?
He wakes up at 7:59. The alarm goes off at 8. He lets it buzz once and he turns it off, which is like, oh man, do I understand that?
Yeah. I know. That was me this morning. I was going to get up at 7. I went to bed early, and then 6:48 I'm awake, and you're just like,
just dreading waking up. I had to wake up a little bit early today too.
What'd you do?
Well, I had to come in to. I was on Long Island last night, so I had to drive into Brooklyn.
Work. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I get it. And yeah, it's just a kind of an innocuous Simon and Marcy, probably to set up the importance to Marcy for any new viewers. Remind us, because she does come back later. Yeah.
So there are parallels between Simon's episode and Fiona's episode, both starting with the dream sequence. They wake up with an alarm clock
and get ready for the day, which is what she did too. Like, she's in there doing her stuff. He's in there, he's shaving, everything. You hear what sounds like a garage door open, and it's light out, but you're like, what? And it's 9, and you're like, oh no, I guess I misheard that. And then nope, I heard it right. He is now an exhibit of the 20th century man.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It's very depressing, but it again is also like a great parallel to Fiona's episode, because he's essentially a tour guide, just like Fionna is, and also like kind of hating his job. So the people that come to like watch him, like because like he's sort of like in a zoo, but also he is the tour guide explaining it. Yeah. And the people that like
another guide.
Yeah. They're watching him iron pants or whatever. And the people that are there to see the exhibit they know who he is. Like, he's famous in OO now. Like, word has spread. Mm-hmm. They know that like he used to be the Ice King. He was the guy who wrote Fionna and Cake. Yeah. And they're fans of Fionna and Cake, and they're kind of harassing him about that.
Yeah, and in a fan, and mainly there's like a little girl there who's dressed like Finn, which is interesting.
Well, dressed like Fionna. She's got the rabbit ears.
Right.
On the hat. Yeah.
Okay, guy. I saw yeah, that makes way more sense. And she's just like, this is my favorite thing of all time. He wrote it when he was Ice King. And she's like, can you at least sign my thing? And she explains that his girlfriend went crazy or something, and now he's here.
Yeah.
Which is super funny. And yeah, so I guess in this moment you're like, oh, the Fionna and Cake stories that Ice King wrote got out to the world, and they're really well known, which is interesting. And right, because previously when in the Fionna and Cake in the original series, he's just sort of reading them, right, or writing them, but he reads one to Finn and Jake or something.
Somehow they make their way out to the public. There is like a Fionna and Cake episode towards the end of the series that's like sort of a fake out, where like somebody pretends to be Fionna in the real world and is like fucking with Ice King, being like, I'm real, you made me real. And he's like, what the fuck? But she's just like scamming him. So I forget how that happens, how it disseminates to the public, but it gets out there somehow.
Oh yeah, okay, it gets out there. I mean, so he and we find out later in the episode. I guess I'm jumping around. I'm not going chronological, but we find out that Jake was the one that convinced everyone these stories are really good and started spreading them. And then it took on a life of its own, it would seem.
Yeah.
But they're there, they're harassing him. Eventually he's like freaking out and goes into the bathroom and like shuts down. And then he gets he goes in and right to Golb and like hugs it. And then there's like some masked character speaking to him underneath like a what's it called? Like a blanket.
Yeah. He's got some mysterious thing covered up.
Yeah.
And you see some hands like reach out from underneath. And it's like, what the fuck is under there?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Magic Man. But later on, it is revealed that it's Choose Goose, which is like, what the fuck?
Weird.
How does that... I mean, it doesn't make any sense now. I have to presume that there is a reason that we'll find out later on, but I have no idea where to even begin guessing what that could be.
Yeah.
Like, where did Choose Goose end up in the end of Adventure Time?
I don't know. I don't remember that, right? No one's keeping track of Choose Goose. I forgot about this character.
He speaks in rhymes. I think he's like a merchant. I think he like sells weapons or some shit like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And he looks fucking terrible. He looks like he's a little zombied out or something.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we find him later, and then to deal with this, Simon goes to get a drink. Root beer guy's there, or dirt beer guy, or whatever you want to call him. Makes him a weird drink. He's gonna pay the tab. He sees the picture of Betty. He's all weird, and then that's when we get to meet Finn, and he's like, "What's wrong, man?" And he kind of just lays out his existential panic. He literally says something to the effect of, he's like, "I'm caught like in an unending slog to what?"
Yeah.
And I mean, that hit me sort of hard, right?
Yeah.
And you do I mean, I guess that's a way you can look at life, but then it also, the tragedy that hits some people and that our lives could become, like, not to get existential too, but it makes, right? Like, it makes you, that's what they're getting at, which is like, what if you're older? Like you were saying, it's the other end of the existential, like there's the young thing where I gotta figure this out. But then there's where Simon is, which is like, he was somewhere, he had things, and it's gone, and he can't get them back. And it's like, so what am I doing now? And he's also talking about how out of step and out of place he feels. Like, he's like, I used to be able to relate to everyone in this world, but like, I can't anymore. Like, and Finn's like, well, there's way more humans here. And he's like, yeah, but they're like future humans. Like, I'm a dinosaur to you guys. Like, what is this? And I don't know. That's hard. I mean, it feeds into my own existential dread, which is wrapped up in age. And it's, I don't know, you're right. It's like a very different view of like whoa, what's going on now?
This episode doesn't really let up.
No.
It's just always dark.
It's always dark. And then Finn is like, you know what you need is a quest. And I think we were talking about the avoidance. He, it's like, cool, let's do a quest. This will help you. And I think later he says to himself, he goes, all you got to do is keep him busy.
Yeah.
And you'll be good.
Yeah.
Which I guess is avoidance. But I guess that's also, I mean, I can't tell if that's avoidance. I mean, that also is like a good tactic of avoiding anxiety, right? Like, or like if you're like, I'm gonna, right? If you just are constantly ruminating on that, Finn's kind of like, let's get you out and experiencing the world and like give you a purpose to work on. And I feel like there's like sort of like a wisdom in that, but then he's going about it in such a way that it, you know what I mean?
Finn is, so
I don't know. I'm not a licensed therapist or life coach, so I don't know.
I would say that Finn is not dealing with the death of Jake very well.
Now that's where I was going, and that's the underlying concern of this, is because he's certainly actually dealing with the same existential stuff that Ice King is.
Yeah. And his coping mechanism is to just continue going on adventures and never stopping long enough to dwell on it. And now we see that this coping mechanism is self-destructive, literally, because he is just wandering blindfolded into forest monsters that are literally damaging like him, like they're slicing him up, and like this is causing him harm, like
and they're in the dangerous part. They're somewhere they should not be.
Yeah.
And they know this, and he's just like doesn't care.
Yeah, he's being reckless with his mental health and thereby also his physical health. Yeah, he's just going a mile a minute like he always had been.
Yeah.
And it's a little disconcerting because I think on some level he must realize that enough that he's doing that to himself to suggest it as a coping mechanism for his friend.
Yeah.
So like he's conscious of it, but he's also like refusing to deal with it like in its totality. Like he knows it's happening, but he refuses to acknowledge like the harm that it's causing.
Yeah.
Very complicated place to be in. Because also, like, so when we see Finn, he's hanging out with Jake's son, TV. When we saw Finn in Obsidian, he was hanging out with Jake's granddaughter, Bronwyn. So what is he doing with, like, these kids? I mean, at this point, how old is TV? Probably. I don't know. But he also doesn't seem nearly as into doing shit as Jake was.
TV?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a stand-in, but like, I don't know. It's his they're kind of his family too, right? He's their uncle.
Yeah.
He's TV's uncle.
Yeah.
So he's allowed to hang out and, yeah.
Yeah, but who knows how healthy that relationship actually is? It seems like Finn is probably projecting things onto TV that he shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Because it's just hard. It's heavy.
Yeah. Because I was also wondering why TV wasn't coming on their quest.
Yeah.
That dynamic is unrevealed as of yet.
Yeah. I almost think, I mean, now you're just making me even more sad. Like really thinking about it. And it's like, and they're at the bar together. Is it just one of those things where it's like, you know, who's Finn? You know, I don't know. I don't want to say this, but it's just like, it's painting that picture of like, you know, older guy at the bar who's still kind of single and is hanging out with people. And you're kind of like, where's that guy going? Or like, where's he go after this? You know what I mean? And he's there he's got his nephews and he's just doing his thing and he goes about, and it's like, that's a version of that. And I guess it's just tough maybe to see Finn there. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Finn's behavior was troubling. It was like the plight of Simon is understandable on some level in that like, wow, all this shit happened to him and he's trying to figure it out, but he just doesn't know what he's supposed to do. Like he seems like he's like kind of run out of options at this point. Finn's behavior seems like he hasn't really like thought about it enough. It's like these two sides of the coin. Like, okay, so we got Fionna versus Simon and we understand that foil across the two episodes. Now we see the foil of Simon and Finn. So like this, I'm assuming, and I think it's safe to say Simon's going to be a very central character to the TV show in which he is not a title character.
Yeah.
But we see him reflect against two other opposites. And Finn's side of it is troubling because I recognize a lot of like sort of manic behavior in what Finn is doing. Like friends that I've had that like exhibit that kind of behavior, like during a manic episode and like not knowing like what to do to help, like, and you can see the self-destructive behavior, and they're kind of just doing their own thing with their own momentum that's impossible to stop in any way. And Simon is so low at this point that he's like, I don't want to say he's like enabling Finn, but he's like letting Finn take him along on this shit that's not good for either of them, which is troubling also. These poor characters, like, I didn't want to see them this way.
Yeah, man. Right?
I mean,
I guess that's just why I'm having a tough time. And it's like feeding in my own existential. It's just like, it's not where you hope Finn would end up. But like, what's tough about it is like, is it kind of a logical place for Finn to end up? You know, like if his life was just built around adventuring with Jake and that's all he really wanted to do. And like, I guess he had romantic interests in these things, but like, we talked about in the last episode, it's like, but I guess also within the construct of it's not like there's like a job or career path. Like, what else is he going to do besides adventure? Like, his life's work is to adventure. And then, then where does that get you when you're, I don't know, however old he's supposed to be in his 40s?
It seems that during the 10 seasons, it seemed like there was at least always like some sort of objective.
Yeah.
And now it feels more like he's going through the motions. Like,
he's not saving anyone. There's not like a problem he's solving.
Right. So there's a pretty strong reference to the Hall of Egress in this episode, and that like he just starts off their quest by just like wandering with a blindfold on.
Yeah.
And just trusting that it'll take him where he needs to be, because he spent like a friggin' year or more like blindfolded in that Hall of Egress quest when he was 16 or whatever. And that was like a powerful learning experience for him, when he was a teenager. And now it seems like he's just kind of like doing like the things without any of like the meaning behind it. He's just like it's like pantomime of Hall of Egress. He's just kind of like doing the physicality of it, but not actually like gaining any ground emotionally or mentally. He's not like progressing at all from it. He's just doing it.
Now you're freaking me out more, because it's like, I guess that's a thing I think a lot of us do, right? Which is like going back to things that worked for us and relying on them, but like it might not ever be the same again.
Right.
But like, you're like, this is what we do, or this is what worked, but at some point, do you have to go a new way? And I guess the answer is sort of yes, but fuck, is that a heavy and hard thing to do? And obviously Finn's not doing it. And it seems like Simon is at a crossroads where he's going to be doing some different stuff. I think that's where we're ending this, and who knows if it's going to be positive or negative or what the fuck's going to happen. But Finn, like you're saying, is, I guess, being avoidant and just, God, this is tough, dude.
Yeah.
This is really, really tough. I mean, I even thought about it. They go through, I mean, we can talk about the quest they go on. It's kind of nonsensical, where they're just like in the heart of the forest.
Reference to Craig of the Creek, maybe?
Was it? I did, there was the parallel there of the first episode where they go into the heart of the garden when Fionna is looking for someone to help with cake.
Yeah.
She meets Hunter's princess. Now they're in a very similar spot with here. So it's ancient. Yeah, I mean, this sort of avoidance tactic doesn't really work for Simon. I thought it was also, I don't know about you, but kind of odd. Like, they get out and then Finn's like, all right, I'm going to see you later. I'm going to go see Huntress Princess. You can go this way. I felt that kind of like this guy's going through this hard time. He's clearly not okay. Like, shouldn't you continue on with him, bring him home, invite him with Huntress? You know what I mean? I don't know if that was his responsibility, but that also didn't seem super Finn-like. Or did that not mean that much?
It was kind of a weird thing for him to do. And also the way that he talked about Huntress Wizard throughout the episode, like saying that he was like going to go hang out with her. It feels weird because there was sort of like a weird thing between those two that like never really happened. And it's like, what is their friendship like? If I had to guess, I would say it's maybe unhealthy in some weird codependent way.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess they kind of hinted at it in the Fiona and Cake episode with the romantic, like there's some sort of thing there, still a bond thing.
Yeah. I mean, they're over the 20 some odd years since, the end of season 10, like what's happened between Finn and Huntress Wizard? Like, how are they still friends? Like what, I would just have to guess that if this is a person that Finn is bringing up in conversation throughout this whole thing, it's probably some weird kind of maybe unhealthy relationship. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, and then he heads back, and we get a song there.
Yeah, there's the Rebecca Sugar that we were waiting for.
That was her, right?
Yeah, just singing through sort of like not like a real montage, but just just
heading back and being sad. And it's like a nice little bossa sort of a thing underneath.
Yeah.
And
ukulele.
On ukulele. Part of Madness, it looks like the name of what this song is. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got the lyric stuff and everything. Part of the Madness. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna read the lyrics, but I guess we could listen to it. Should we?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go. Ad. Squarespace. Now we're a real podcast ad with that ad. Here we go.
Does somebody jump for joy? Does somebody cry? Now that I'm not part of that sadness, does somebody want me?
Is that actual guitar accompaniment?
Okay, yes,
Maybe it's like a baritone ukulele. I don't know.
that I'm not part of the madness.
Maybe.
Part of the madness. Part of the madness. Part of the madness. Laughter and screams seem to echo faintly. I can still hear them now. Somewhere the roller coaster climbs and dives while I've got my feet on the ground. Aren't I so much better now that I'm just a normal guy? Now that I'm not. Now that I'm not. Now that I'm not part of the madness.
All right. And then nice song. Nice and melancholy, fits the mood. It's a good song for that moment and for such a sad app. And then he calls Marceline, which I guess now here's a bright spot, is Marceline and PB are having like a lot of fun together.
Yeah.
They're both immortal, right?
Sort of, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah. So that's nice.
Yeah.
They're getting tattoos, although it doesn't work because Marceline's skin keeps rehealing, and then PB is like, she's gunking up the gun, is what she says.
Yeah, I as much as I love those characters, I don't expect them to be a part of this series in a major way, and I am more than okay with that. I think we got some good closure with their arcs in the Obsidian special. I mean, hey, I'm definitely open to seeing more of them if they can do it in a way that's like narratively and emotionally important.
I think with Marceline's history with Simon, it feels like she's going to be involved in some capacity. But we'll see how, and we'll see if so. And then he heads home, and that's where you see Choose Goose, and then he's like performing some sort of ritual with Golb and Betty's picture and everything, and
he's got like jumper cables hooked up to Choose Goose from like this Golb shrine, and like what?
It's pretty wild. And I forget what he's repeating over and over. Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly.
Oh, here we go. Sean. Sean.
What's up, boys?
You're on the pod.
Yeah, you knew.
I know I am.
Yeah. I tipped him off. Oh. I tipped Sean off. Although most calls have.
No, you didn't tip me off. You kind of did, but actually, off air for like 45 minutes earlier today, me and Eric got some good audio talk in.
Oh, a cornerstone of Adventure Guys.
And he let me know that you guys were. Let me know that you guys were about to do this. So.
Did you discuss, Eric? Did you tell him to call?
I did not.
No, he didn't.
He just
I actually tried to call you. Eric was like, "Oh, I'm on my way over there now." So I waited like an hour and a half, and then I called Nick twice, but your phone was off.
Maybe that's when my phone was dead. I didn't even see I don't even have a miss.
Your phone was dead,
Oh yeah, and then you got an important work call.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that after. Anyway, yeah. I mean, we're just finishing episode discussion. And the last thing we see after the ritual doesn't work is we see, Sean, I don't know if you saw this, we saw Prismo's cube. Oh, you did see it. You watched the episode. We saw Prismo's cube, and then a remote control where a new like button appears and it's clicking.
Yeah.
So we're going to get Prismo.
So I think that we're about to basically I think that the next episode or some future soon episode is going to start with that clicking, and then Prismo is going to press that button. I believe that that's not the first time we've seen that button, honestly. I think that basically we're gonna see Prismo, and he's gonna click that button, and then it's an alert to Prismo that some kind of crazy multi-universal shit is going on.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what I mean?
I don't remember all the rules of what happened during like the weird farm world thing with that multiverse arc.
Yeah.
But if we got some callbacks to that, I mean, it would probably be appropriate. I really want to see Prismo again.
It bodes well.
Prismo so much. He's so great.
And we'll definitely get Kumail back.
Yeah, there's no Prismo without him.
I know it's funny because like with Marshall Lee in the first episode, it's like, Donald Glover's so big, and he was only Marshall Lee. What was it? One episode?
I think it was two.
So it's like if he was in it, it would have been okay. In the way that Neil Patrick Harris isn't in it, but you couldn't have Prismo if Kumail didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very true.
You want to give us a Prismo? And you guys want to give a Prismo impersonation?
No.
Hi guys. Yeah, feel free to make yourself comfortable. I've got some chips. You guys need a sandwich?
Yes, thank you. Just
you're welcome.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, Sean, I told everyone that what you said, which was that if they dropped this all at once, you would have just gone through it all in one sitting, even though you had so much to do.
Yeah, I truly do not have time for this. But if tonight they dropped the whole rest of the show at, say, like 9 p.m., I would just stay up all night and watch it.
Sean, by the way,
I don't have time for that.
I said earlier, we can cut this all out if you need to, but that you're going on tour with Knocked Loose, and I said if any adventure heads are going to the show, that they could probably find you.
Yeah, they probably can. I mean, I don't actually know if they can.
That's true.
But they probably can.
Is it okay if that's out there?
Yeah, dude, fuck it. If someone's like a fan of Adventure Guys and they're fucking going to a Knocked Loose show, definitely, like, I don't know, hit up didyousee@gmail.com and
There it is.
then that shit will get forwarded to me and we could see if it's possible to make that happen. I don't know.
Hey, we've seen fans at the Jeff Rosenstock show. I'm going to see. Oh, this isn't going to be out. I'm going to see Jeff Thursday at Terminal
Have
5.
you guys seen fans that like you didn't know ahead of time?
On tour, did you see someone?
Like people that like you didn't know, and then they walked up to you, and then they were like, "Oh, I listened to your podcast."
I don't remember anything like so specifically. Like I think
Random as that.
I mean, people that have listened to the podcast like have been known to me through other like avenues, like with the holophonics or something. But yeah, I don't think I've met like a purely new random. Well, yeah, but yeah,
but we had conversed.
Yeah, there was communication there. There wasn't just
Sean's talking about just like at a show. Hey, I know you. Although I did see a friend, Steve Fox, and he had he's from Delaware, and he loves punk and stuff. We were in the Take the Mic together. In some insane fashion, he had found Adventure Guys and listened to it. And then it wasn't until I posted it or saw him. He was at the Labor Day barbecue here a year ago, and in some way he was like, "Oh, I've listened to that. I didn't realize. I should have realized that was you."
What?
Yeah, that was wild.
That's crazy.
That was fun.
That's cool.
He's cool. What else we got? I don't know. I would like
Nice.
I'd like to go meet more. I'd like to meet more of our fans. We have to meet Saxon.
Yeah, that's good.
I did. Mm-hmm. That was cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. Especially since
Nice.
there's people. I put up the first Fionna and Cake episode on YouTube, and it's gotten some views, and we got it.
The pod?
Yeah, on there, and
Great.
and Moctezuma, who we know, commented.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I've been listening for 2 years.
Remember, everybody, Gen Z, their streaming platform of choice is YouTube, not Apple Music or Spotify.
It's insane.
So get it up on YouTube.
Well, Sean, okay, we will. So we're putting it up there. I've started doing this. I relearned how to use Premiere. Sean, you are going to tour with Knocked Loose, so this actually could be. You could watch it hopefully as you go on tour.
I will probably do that. So earlier today, my conversation I had with Eric was like, I essentially asked Eric, what do you do on a long tour? Like, how does going on an insanely long tour work? Because I was kind of like, I need to figure out, like, is there anything I need to pack I'm not thinking about? Is there anything I need to think about in terms of, like, you know, clothing and stuff like that? And I was like, who do I know? I was like, that's right. Eric has toured more than any other human that I know, and he's going to have all the answers to, like, all of my little nitpicky questions I have. So we were talking about that earlier today. And I guess I will definitely watch this for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Brent, I guess you can watch it. You can watch it on your iPhone. I guess if you have an iPad or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just fucking figure it out. I have no idea how yet, but I'll get it. Hopefully our bus has Wi-Fi. So.
And at some point,
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, you could just download the episodes when you get to the venue.
see now here's the
That's very true.
That's the insight.
Can you make shows available offline with HBO Max?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sorry. It's just Max now. I got to get the brand.
Yeah,
Right.
dude. Yeah, it'll be fun. Dude, you have to give us a call or two from the road.
Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I definitely need to make a couple road appearances.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe we can see if there's any way to fit in an ep while I'm in New York.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, what's the New York show date?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. It was like the 18th or the 28th. I can't remember which one.
Oh, October?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
We can schedule this now.
Yeah, we definitely will. Let's get that calendar going.
Because we were talking about this.
If I can, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, this is around when we were talking about doing the live show.
Right. Because we're playing in Montreal on the 26th, and then we have an off day, and then we're playing New York. So
10/28.
It's one of those like, what?
10/28.
Yeah, so hopefully on 10/27 I can see you guys. Or on 10/28 early in the day.
What day of the week?
Who knows?
What day of the week is that?
10/27. I'm working 2 shows, but the 28th I have off.
Oh, 20th is Saturday. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe we can do it. It can happen.
Could always do an iPhone app.
Yeah.
Because Sean's gonna be.
Something like that.
You'll be right near. We can also bring the rig. You'll also be right. He'll be right at MSG and Hudson Yards and all that. That's where Hammerstein Ballroom is.
Oh, it is?
We could go into the Sam Ash that's right next door and like record using their gear or something.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. We'll think of some insane thing.
That sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. For some weird reason, I have a Saturday open. I'm working 2 shows the Friday night before, so.
Yeah, gotcha.
Cool.
A digression from Nick's crazy idea he just had. A friend who, I'm not going to say who because I don't know if this store knows that they were doing this, but a friend of mine they would go into a famous synth store in Austin and like clandestinely bring an interface and record all of their synthesizers, and that's like how they got all of their synths for a record.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
so-
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean,
we can
B&H
do a podcast.
B&H is right there.
shit. That's a great idea.
We definitely can record a whole episode at the B&H.
Actually,
That place is such a madhouse. We could totally get like an hour on a microphone without anyone knowing.
what I like the idea of is walking, like just meeting up with Sean and then doing an epic walking through. Because have you been to B&H?
I haven't been to that store, no.
Dude, it is like
Dude, we should just bring our own recording gear into B&H.
yeah, it's
And the portable thing and like a 357s and just walk around and talk in B&H.
Dude,
about
it's
Adventure Time.
crazy.
It's insane in there, especially with all of the like motorized conveyor belts overhead.
It's like
handling
3
all the
floors.
shipment delivery stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I feel like we could have some fun when Sean has a little bit of a break there.
That would
Yeah.
be cool. I'll also probably be going certifiably insane because I will have not been home for like 7 weeks at that point. So you guys will be like a breath of fresh air seeing other humans I know. It'll be great. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Eric, do you have any advice for me based on your experience being on the road for a long time? Like, do you have like any quips of advice or stories about what happened? Like, how does that work? Like, when you're on the road for a long time, does it change or feel different after a while?
I feel like there's a hump to get over. Like a lot of tours these days are like in the 2.5 to 3 week range, and I think like if you go past 3.5 weeks, right? Like 3 weeks, 4 weekends. If you get over that hump, you're in territory that a lot of people don't hit very often, and that's when things start to feel different, like when you like forget what life used to be like. And
that's what I'm really afraid of.
if you can
I'm
get
really afraid of like being on the road so long that I'm like, this is my life now. I don't have a home anymore. The bus is my home.
yeah, if you get there, it becomes way easier. and you get into a
Really?
groove, and like you just become more adept at encountering new wild situations every single day. But yeah, like 3 weeks, 4 weekends, if you get over that hump, you can go forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely excited for my first tour being this long to be a bus because, you know, for our listeners, obviously the difference, like on a van tour, you have to spend the first half of your day at least driving. But on a bus tour, you go to sleep on the bus. Supposedly, what I've been told is that you just fall asleep on the bus and then you just wake up in the next city. So you have like the morning off in the next city every day, basically.
Yeah, unless you're mad caddies and you drive to Brooklyn instead of Buffalo. Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That's awesome.
That's one of the most insane tour fuck ups I've ever heard.
Yeah. This is, I guess, why touring younger, like, this is like, I just wanted to go on tour in my 20s more than anything in the world because I think I wanted the feeling of, I don't remember, like, you're just like a pirate now.
Yeah.
Like at 27, I would have just been like, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ruined my life that way. Lost, just like totally destroyed my credit and when I was 27.
Was it fun?
It was the most fun I've ever had. It was also like the most I've ever hated life. But
What a dichotomy.
yeah.
For me, that was definitely touring with 4.0, and I only did a couple of tours with 4.0, but every time was a complete and utter disaster. And I was somewhere between the age of 18 and 21. I was way too young to be doing any of that stuff. Like, you know, I definitely like take it a little bit. I definitely take it for granted at the time. And I you know, wish I really was more present and aware of how cool that stuff was at the time.
That was the cool thing. That was the cool part about going tour the Holophonics. It was just a week.
Yeah.
I guess I was 28 or 29. And that was like some of the most, I mean, a week isn't grueling, but I was so present for every single moment of that.
Yeah, and you got a good smattering of like you got the very bad shows and you got the very good shows. You got the American shows, you got the international shows.
Yeah.
you got a little taste.
Yeah.
It's the appetizer sampler of touring.
Yeah.
Nick, you did like Montreal and Toronto, right?
Just Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really cool one to do.
That
you
was
know?
a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show I don't remember at all. I remember everything around
Yeah.
it.
The venue is no longer there. The Catacombs,
That was cool.
they closed down, unfortunately, but it was a great venue.
So cool. Oh no, I remember that.
Now
bit.
that I'm like, you know, in my 30s, you know, I'm sure Eric feels the same way, but it's like if you're gonna go on tour, it has a completely different feeling now where it's not about finding disaster and crazy parties or anything like that as much as it is like finding mature people who like just want to like find a way to coexist in this space, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like live life comfortably. Like, and that's a cool thing about Knocked Loose. The members of the band are a little bit younger than me, but they have toured so much more than I ever have in my life. Like they've just been touring nonstop for the last decade. So like, you know, they're just like seasoned professionals at just like living life on the road. You know what I mean? Which is cool. And it's a good environment to be in. You know, I've definitely heard of friends who are our age who maybe go on tour and like one member of the band or one member of the camp is a lot younger and they're like sowing their wild tour oats and it's just like a bummer for everybody else involved, you know?
Yeah.
But there's not going to be any of that on this tour. It's going to be just like a bunch of people chilling and having a good time. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's also way easier when like you're not worried about money 100% of the time. That was the only thing that ever tainted the touring experience for me. There was one guy who caused problems on the road.
Dude, I remember those stories.
Yeah, there's
I wrote a whole journal when I went on tour, and I feel like Willie told me about that guy. Holy shit. We don't, it's not for the air, but Sean, you got to hear this.
Yeah, everybody's got at least one guy they've toured with that like made the experience for that. Like, okay, I understand what not to do and who not to bring on tour with me. Everyone has like the one mistake that they made in personnel. But aside from
has one, I'm not going to say, but Nick knows.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
although Sean, the one that Eric's talking about, there was like potential violence involved and stuff.
Oh no, that's bad.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
It was bad, but aside from that, the only problems I ever had on the road were just like worrying about money. And the next time I go out with my band, like I'm just saving up to make sure that I don't ever have to do that anymore, like to worry anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, I think is Sean earning? We've been going with Sean now for 20 minutes. Is he earning billing on the episode?
Yes.
What's the minimum threshold?
I don't know. He wasn't around for the whole discussion.
You guys called me, and I was about to do like these drum play along videos, which Nick knows I've been working hard on. So
everyone, go follow.
Get some billing.
Go follow
Let's get
Sean.
over this threshold so I can get some billing.
Go follow Sean at Sean Harvey Music on Instagram and stuff and YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna put out some videos of me shredding some drums and percussion on songs you've never heard and songs you may have heard.
Can't wait.
Hell yeah.
It'll be great. Yeah.
Cool, dude. Should we let you go so you can do that?
No, what else is going on?
I guess, you want to do plugs for us?
Sure, me?
Yeah.
Am I doing a theme song?
No, just like
not that kind of plugs.
No.
Is that you're thinking Comedy Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
If you like Adventure Guys and you're listening right now, like give us 5 stars on whatever podcast app. Tell a friend. You go to anchor.fm/Adventure Guys podcasts to give us some money, which would actually be really appreciated. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, all that shit, Twitter.
Yes. I'd like to say that this is my number one favorite podcast at the cross section of general music talk and cartoons. And I think it is, in my humble opinion, the preeminent podcast of the sort. So everyone needs to tell their friends. Everyone needs to get out there and get the goddamn word out that this is the podcast if that's what you're into.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We're the only podcast that's legally allowed to be reviewing Fionna and Cake right now. If you're a podcast that is also reviewing Fionna and Cake, you're breaking the law, and you're not allowed to do that.
Podcast rules. Follow them.
Yeah. Other plugs.
Podcast police are going to shut you down.
Yeah. And then other plugs. 4.0 Syracuse ska band Sean played in.
4.0.
Go listen to it on Spotify. Holophonics. That's Eric's band.
When's the 4.0 reunion?
EP Not So Easy.
Yeah.
From the year 2012.
It's really good.
Sean, I told you about my 4.0 weird connection, right? This is a plug for another band.
You know someone, you worked with a band and like a major influence was 4.0, right?
Yes. So
that's so fucking cool.
Here's a plug for Younger Than Neil, ska core band from Denver, Colorado. And the Holophonics did a split 7-inch with them a few years ago. And while we were
tell Younger than Neil, thank you so much.
Yes. While we were recording that, they told me the origin story of their band was their bass trombone player trying to start a band that sounded like Lighthouse's Rule.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. I love that.
Yeah. And I always think of 4.0. It makes me so happy because they were so fun to be around. And it always reminds me of Regular Show. And Sean texted us a really fun Regular Show thing before. which is that you spotted
Yeah.
a restaurant called It's Excellent.
No, it was a restaurant called The Excellent Cafe.
I love it.
It was awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And the picture of Rigby with the "I'm excellent" hat in a fucking hospital
it's
bed.
such a great hat. I would say that twice a year I almost buy that hat.
I talked to Sean about getting a tattoo of the Excellent hat. and he was like,
Oh yeah.
and Sean did not think that was a good idea.
That's an amazing idea. Yeah, don't wear the hat. Get a tattoo of the hat.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
Get a tattoo of Rigby, not like sick Rigby at the end of the episode, but just imagine Rigby later on. Like, he's just like happy and jovial, and he's wearing the "I'm excellent" hat. Although, Nick and I have talked, I think that there's like, we found the perfect regular show tattoo for Nick. Can I talk about this on air?
Sure. Well, did you guys? Should I tell everybody first that I only have one tattoo, and I've never really talked about what it is on the air before. But it's a cube.
Play that cube theme song.
The cube. Unravel the mystery. It's a conspiracy. It's the cube. The cube.
Previously unknown. No one has ever talked about the cube on air before.
The cube. Sean took some good photos of when I got the cube. I actually saw them the other day in my hard drive, and I was like, I got to do something with this.
Dude, but also,
It's like a year ago.
no, but Nick's thing, his regular show tattoo, which I think is really spectacular, Nick, is just, it's just Mordecai pushing a lawnmower, and Rigby is on it, and Rigby's just holding a pot of coffee.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's so fantastic. I just think it's really important.
Thought about it. Still thinking about my Mars Volta tattoo too. I think I have to get that like imminently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our Adventure Time tattoo. I think we have to get the Adventure Time tattoo soon. I know you need money. I know you have a big idea, but maybe we could get a small one with Craig.
Yeah.
With Craig?
Craig's Shay, who's been on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Sean.
I just reverted to 2020 pandemic times, and me and Nick's favorite person we saw every day, Craig from the gas station.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there was a guy named Craig at the gas station down the street, and we saw him every
This
day.
place called The Bread Basket.
Dude, I miss it so bad.
Dude, Craig was the best.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He was a really good guy. Can I diverge for a sec?
Yeah?
Can I get into some grind my gears territory?
Please.
Do it.
When does fall start?
September 20th.
Was that
What?
same day every year?
Yeah, September 20th.
Thank you. Why is it that everyone our age on my Instagram is saying that yesterday was the end of summer?
Because, well, that's Labor Day. It's the colloquial end of summer, but it's not the formal end of summer.
What do you mean the colloquial end? It's not the end of summer. It's the last holiday of summer. Do you mean like it's spiritually the end of summer?
Yeah.
It's not, though. I don't like anyone taking some of my summer away from me.
I mean, it was 95
pissed
degrees
off about it.
here in Brooklyn today, and that kind of sucked. Definitely summer still, but
What was it today?
95.
Oh, that sucks.
Dude, it's so hot. It's summer.
You don't want to know the temperature here.
74.
Yeah, but like a lot of today was just like 72. So sick.
Yeah.
You know. But California does that weird thing where it's right as I'm leaving for tour, it's going to get really hot. And it'll be like 90 for the month of September. Really weird.
Amazing.
But anyway. You know.
Do we do Miscellaneous Mania on this one?
We haven't gotten there yet. There's some things I'd like to look up. Is it time for Miscellaneous Mania? Sean is just going to join us for Miscellaneous Mania.
For as long as he likes.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on. I might pop off for a second, but I'll come back.
I mean, do whatever you want.
Yeah, you should kick off Miscellaneous Mania.
Yeah, we're doing it.
There's things you may not know. Those Eric and Nick will show you all the trivia in Miscellaneous.
What do you want? What are the things? Sean's in a practice space, I think.
Someone's really shedding some like Almond Brothers licks. Sorry.
Here's some Miscellaneous Mania. Remember we said on our last episode, it was a very special day because we got Fionna Cake, we got Hell Mode. There's our Jeffrance. We also got One Piece live action series. The other thing that we got was that I couldn't remember, but now I do, is the 5th and final season of Disenchantment on Netflix, which is Matt Groening's other show. That's definitely not as good as the other show or the.
Do you watch the show Our Flag Means Death?
I watched the first season.
They dropped this teaser for season 2, is what Kat Burnside said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what is that?
Taika Waititi's pirate show.
You liked it, right?
It was a little slow at first, and it wound up being good by the end, in my opinion. But the Disenchantment show is I mean, I really love Futurama.
That's where the name of the Hall of Fox comes from. Right?
Yes, and I was never like the hugest Simpsons fan, and it seems like Simpsons like the last decade has not been worthwhile. But Disenchantment is not nearly as funny as it should be because it's got a really great cast. Abby Jacobson and Eric Andre are two very funny people in my opinion, and yet the writing is not funny. But it's the most story driven of any of the Matt Groening shows. And I like that animation world, and John DiMaggio's in it and he's great. And Maurice LaMarche and Tress MacNeille and all the familiar people, and it is some quality animation. Billy West shows up too. He's got some smaller roles.
Nice. Yeah.
Sort of in the realm.
That's Miscellaneous Mania for the podcast.
Yeah.
Like that's podcast lore, which I like. You know what I mean? I saw Steve Wolfhard directed this episode, which is quite tight. Or supervising, and then Hans Sen did the art. Written, storyboarded, Iggy Craig, Graham Falk, Jim Campbell, Luciola Alengai.
Those are some new names.
They are, except for Steve Wolfhard. I was like, oh wait, I know that name. Let me write that down. And then it's like, oh yeah, you go through. It's like, yeah, wrote and storyboarded some of like cornerstone episodes for us.
Yeah. But he directed this.
Yes.
So I guess that's a promotion.
Yeah, and then Iggy Craig, I'm looking, did the Distant Lands BMO and Obsidian.
Okay.
Yeah, and Graham Falk has been around more and did the actual Root Beer Guy episode, Cherry Cream Soda, Abstract.
Yeah.
Bunch of good ones. Yeah, so we've got some folks involved.
I did want to find out what the intro sequence of this episode is referencing.
Oh yeah. Oh, you want to talk about? Let me try to look that up. You want to talk about Cheers real quick?
Cheers. I don't think we talked about Cheers the last episode, but Fiona flips on the TV in her apartment and Cheers is on. And I think she's like, what is she like flipping through the channels and it's on like every channel and she's getting sick of it or something like that.
Yeah.
But then Simon is also watching Cheers, but like, is that on purpose? Like he puts in a tape of it or something? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And we know, I don't really know what the significance of Cheers
Well, remember
is.
he sings the Cheers theme song?
Yes, and it never really fully landed for me whether it's like this means something or it's just a superficial reference to the time. It's like
I found that really emotionally affecting when he did it. Like it's
right, but only because we know that it's like something from the series that like there is a history of it, but like if it does it actually mean anything, or like is it just something to latch onto that now we have meaning for because we have context for it? Like was there ever a reason for it specifically having to be the Cheers theme? Like could it have been any sitcom theme and would it still have the same effect?
well, I don't know. But it's where everyone knows your name, so I think the lyrics have some part. But I don't know. I'm not seeing what this was. I'm like, I know it was like a noir sort of themed theme song for the episode. Sean, I'm so glad you called and have hung out. I love you guys.
It's been great.
You're the best. Some of my best friends.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, I'm.
We're the three best friends that anyone could have. Three best friends.
Yeah, you guys make me happy. Thank you.
Dude, hell yeah. You too.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of done. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Apparently Choose Goose turned evil at the end of Wizard City.
Oh, there you go.
I guess I don't remember that.
No, I don't like
I
Choose.
don't remember that either.
Choose Goose is like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, famously
Yeah,
our,
that was kind
our
of
least
crazy,
favorite.
Juice Goose being like evil, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. Sorry. We reviewed that like a year ago or more. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say it was interesting. We don't for the while. We're not gonna have to do the episode generator.
Yeah. Oh, we skipped it. Did you see the snail?
No. Did you see the snail?
No. Sean, did you see the snail?
What?
Did you?
Did you see the snail?
Yes, I did.
What?
Explain yourself.
Did you guys not?
Well,
Does that count? Did you see the snail's shell?
I saw the snail's shell in like in that cage. I think that's the snail. I think that's the snail. Because like that is Simon's like, you know, it's like his crazy shrine to like all of the fucked up evil shit. And that, the snail, as we know from like lich stuff, that is like, the snail is like very much a part of all that. I think that's the snail's shell, and I think that counts.
Okay, well, if Sean's ruling is that counts, then we definitely all saw that.
we all saw it. All right, play that song.
All right, good job, everyone. Let's hear that victory theme.
Looking in the scenery throughout the land of Ooh, he lies in wait for me and you. We saw the snail. We saw the snail. We saw the snail.
I was gonna say we could go down the rabbit hole, but like it's all just gonna be Adventure Time shit. But you do get some fun vids. But we're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You guys can just go YouTube Simon Petrikov. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have for the pod. We've been going for over 2 hours, dude.
Oh, that's awesome,
What?
guys.
We
Good
have
job.
no, we haven't.
Oh, was that an hour and 24 minutes?
We're in our second hour, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, hour 24 is how long we've been recording.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Sean's like, no more congratulations.
It's
just
not,
we-
take it
it's
back.
not 3 hours and 11 minutes.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Our last two. This is gonna be. We've had a good run of lengthy ones.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get to edit this one. It might be a little while.
That's okay.
I'll try and do it Thursday at Brooklyn Bowl in between soundcheck and showtime.
Hopefully there's not a lot. Is it hard to process Sean's voice when I'm just holding up this phone?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like, I don't do anything. Okay.
Hey, guys, this has been great. I'm so thankful I called.
Yeah, dude, I love you.
Yeah.
I love you, too. I'm going to go now.
Okay. See ya. Bye,
All right, I hope
Sean.
I get credited for this. Bye.
Yeah, you will.
Peace.
Yeah, so that's good. Good stuff, Eric. Yeah. Good luck to everybody with their, emotional journeys through this wild world.
Yep. See you next time on Adventure Guys. That's not something we say.
No, but you did there that time, and I hope you enjoy this as much as we do.
All right.
This series. Yep. Bye.
Peace out, y'all.